started. Number 32, got the New York Giants. 2-10 now. Kept them at 32 from last week. Congrats, Giants. No one think are back contention. Your clinched double-digit losses again. They're just struggling. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, they're at least making neighbors looking good, but Tyron Tasty's been a decent running back. We really haven't shown much promise, but we'll see. But hey, at least you're finally going to get a new quarterback this offseason. Say that. So yeah. Number 31, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're 2-10 now as well. With a down one spot from 30 last week. They almost beat the Texans without Trevor Lawrence for parts of the game because of a Cecil hit to him. And them just they're bad. And then they just are. Like, yeah, they almost beat Texans, but Texans were years away. So that isn't saying a ton at this point this year. And we'll see if Trevor Lawrence ends up coming back this week or not. Either way, another team has clinched 10 losses. So yeah. Number 30 at the loss, the Vegas Raiders. 2-10 as well. With them up one spot from 31 last week. I swapped them with Jags just because I thought Raiders did good. McConnell did alright. They almost beat the Chiefs. If it wasn't for a weird snap at the end of the game. It was a close game against a good team, the Chiefs. It sucks you lost, but hey, it helps your tank bowl, so it should help you get a higher pick. Because that's all the Raiders can really hope for at this point because their season's long over. So yeah. Number 29, got the Tennessee Titans. 3-9 now, with them down a few spots from 26 last week. Yeah, big mover, but they got blown out 42-19 to the Titans. I mean, Commanders they didn't get blown out by themselves. Sorry. Either way, they lost by a lot. But hey, you can't expect game of Commanders there. But still, you got blown out. Just you're just not that good. So yeah. Number 28, I get the New England Patriots. They're 3-10 now, with them up one spot from 29 last week. Yeah, they lost well. All these teams at the bottom lost. It's not like that's saying a ton. They only lost by 1 point to a team competing for playoffs and Colts. Jack May's looking good. The line still isn't strongest. Your defense has been alright. And hey, you're only a few. You went for a run kick. You're only a few yards away from winning that game because you went for I think it was like a 68-yard field goal attempt. That would have been a record-breaking one if you made it. Didn't obviously since they lost. Yeah, this helps your pick and help Drake May even more next year because they haven't been eliminated from playoffs. So it's just like you can try to play spoiler because that's what players want to do, but as like the franchise, you kind of want a higher pick to help out your quarterback. So yeah, 27 at the New York Jets. They're 3-9 now, with them down a couple spots from 25 last week. The Jets are just bad. Pretty big disappointment. They lost 26-21 to the Seahawks. It's a close game, but they still lost. Like it's between them, Jags, and the Bengals probably for the most disappointing team. Probably Jets and Bengals or Jets and Jaguars probably one of the top two just because yes, the Bengals are disappointing because you're not going to make the playoffs probably. But at least the Bengals are a decent team still. They have great offense, just their defense is terrible. The Jags and Jets are just completely underperforming on both sides. So yeah, like Aaron Rodgers, he's not the guy anymore. So yeah, number 26 with the Carolina Panthers. They're 3-9 now, with them up one spot from 27 last week. They lost in overtime to the Buccaneers. Um, they barely lost. Like if it wasn't for Chuba Hubbard fumbling out of nowhere in overtime, I would say no, it's just kind of weren't really expecting it because they were pretty close to field goal range. And they fumbles it and costs them the game. Sucks there. Anthony had a great catch. Bryce Young is looking good. And, like, if he had won that game, he could have maybe, like, if you kept up the rest of the year and somehow won out, might maybe won him the division with how weak your division's looking. The Falcons and Bucks are both at right around 500. The Saints are on the around the same record, so it's just like the Panthers at one, they had a decent chance of somehow winning their division, which nobody had coming into the year. It'd be very unlikely. Still, is kind of possible if they somehow win out and everybody else in the division just does terrible this year. Very unlikely, but you never quite know. Like over these last few years, there's always been one division where a team just kind of started struggling near the end of the year and somehow did win a division. Like the last 2 years, AFC South with last year being the Jags falling apart, the previous year being the Titans falling apart, not winning the division. But like it does happen. But with the losing now for sure having losing a record, it's very unlikely. Yeah, Golden Panthers make and Dave Canales looking bright, developing Bryce Young. Like that's the main point. So yeah, let's go to top 25. On 25, I got the Cleveland Browns. 3-9 now. Moved them up a few spots from 28 last week. Yeah, they lost, but if it wasn't for Jameis Winston throwing 2 pick sixes, they probably would have won. Well, they would have had if you take out the Broncos 14 points and let's just say 7-3. If I said 3 to the Browns, just because they probably are in field goal range before one of the pick sixes at least. So yeah, they would have won probably, but you never know, just because obviously the Broncos would have gone way differently in the game if they were down late instead of up. Yeah, Jameis Winston had a pretty good game. He threw for the most yard. If he combined his pick yards and his passing yards, he threw the most yards in one game in NFL history when he combined the two. Previous holder was Vinny Testaverde with 664 versus Baltimore Pistons in 2000, and Winston had 668, so he beat it by 4. So yeah, congrats Winston, he broke the record. Whatever record you want when you have well over 170 of those yards were just pick yards. Yeah. Number 24, got the New Orleans Saints. 4-8 now. They're down a couple spots from 22 last week. They lost to the Rams, I'm pretty sure. 21-14. Yep, 21-14 to the Rams. So actually, honest, like I considered not even moving them down to keep it on the same spot. It's just them losing, obviously, and then losing another one of their weapons, Taysom Hill for the year. Like they already don't have a lot of Olave on IR for she's already done for the year. So right now, weapons pretty much have Alvin Kamara. Not a lot else with him now. Done Taysom Hill done for the year. But yeah, gonna get the close at least. So yeah. Number 23, got the Dallas Cowboys. We're 5-7 now. We kept them at 23 from last week. Yeah, they won, but it was against the Giants on Thanksgiving, and you only beat a bad Giants team by 7. And it was a freaking Cooper Rush versus Drew Lock. No offense, but that isn't a very good quarterback battle. But hey, you got the win. It's going there, and you beat a bad, even worse team than you. So yeah, 122 got the Indianapolis Colts. They're 6-7 now. Moved them up a couple spots from 24 last week. Like I said, the Patriots thing earlier, they won by 1. Almost lost with less than field goal. Granted, Richardson turned around this year, like middle of the year, like Bryce Young is. Like start of the year, they both were struggling. Now both of them are doing a lot better. And like maybe the Colts make the playoffs. We'll see. Yeah, like that's the main thing of these two teams. Like they want to know, like, did we find our franchise quarterback or not? Because like, hey, Colts would have given him first in another year, I hope. But they're not because their owner it does not have a lot of patience. So, yeah. Number 21, get the Miami Dolphins. They're climbing 7 now. I moved them down one spot from 20 last week. They did like usual. They lost in cold weather. The Dolphins just did not like playing in cold weather. Like two was 0-8 in games in his career under that have the weather's under 40 degrees. So yeah, sucks you lost. You helped the Bills clinch their division for the first time this early in the season since 2009 by that loss. But yeah, the Bills probably would end up doing it next week, and if they didn't do it this week, so they wouldn't have broken. They wouldn't have done it that fast time since 2009. They still would have done it pretty soon. Because yeah, the Bill. I'll talk about more Bills later. But yeah, the Bills play Rams this week. So the Rams started with a decent team, but Bills should be able to win that one. But yeah, even touch the Dolphins, but you're still in playoff contention. Number 20, got Atlanta Falcons. They're 6-6 now. I'm down a couple spots from 18 last week. They lost to the Chargers. Their defense did good. It's just their Kirk Cousins threw 4 picks, and that gave the Chargers a lot of good field positions. I think the Chargers had pick six as well. So yeah, like the defense was not the defense's fault. Kirk Cousins just did not do good. We'll see, maybe he does a bounce back game this week because he's against his old team, the Vikings. Like we'll see how he does. But yeah. Number 19, got the Cincinnati Bengals. They're 4-8 now. We kept them at 19 from last week. As usual, their offense looked awesome. As usual this year, their defense looked terrible. And they put up 38 points and they still lost. Like how do you have a losing record this year when you just put up 30 points? Like, that's just crazy. Like, yeah, Bengals, their defense is terrible. So yeah, number 18 against Chicago Bears. The 4-8 now. Moved them up a few spots from 21 last week. Part of the reason I moved them up was they played good. They almost beat a good, great Lions team, and they fired Matt Eberflus. That's a win right there. Like you can't like with his late game time decisions of late, you can't do much worse. Maybe they do, but it's gonna be tough because Eberflus has cost them. Like they've had some really tough losses at the end of the game these past 2 weeks. So that helps them, and they almost beat a good looking Lions team. So yeah. Number 17, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're 6-6 now. Hit them at 17 from last week. They beat. Who did they beat? They, I thought they beat the Panthers 26-23 in overtime. Sorry, I forgot about that one. Yeah, I they won, but they barely beat the Panthers team. They probably if they almost lost if it wasn't for Hubbard fumbling in overtime. They had to come back late in regulation just to force overtime. They haven't did good, and Mike Irvin looked good. So they like even with all these injuries to some of their skill position players, they're still got some young guys stepping up, which is good. And Kate Adams doing good too. So yeah, number 16, got the Arizona Cardinals. 6-6 now as well. With getting moving that close spots from 14 last week. A lot of teams right now have the same record near the bottom, like in the bottom half of the league. I just realized, like a lot of 6-6 teams. A lot of there's a few 2-10 teams. Yeah, Cardinals. Your offense, like did all right. It's just they got a lot of yards. It's just they could never finish, and they can't. That let the Vikings stay in the game. Then they finally got two-score lead late, and the Vikings came back and took the lead back. And then Kyle Murray threw a few costed picks late in the game and cost them. But hey, other than those the fourth quarter or so, their defense looked good. Their pass rush did good. Their line looked good too. They only allowed like 3 or so sacks, I think. It's like there was for most of the game they barely allowed any sacks. It's just at the end of the game, Jonathan Bernard just got right I think into Murray on their last drive. So yeah, we got the coverage game close. Would have been a nice win because then you beat in you'd be beating a good team, but good team that's in the Vikings. Then you would be right on top of your division with the Seahawks. Now you're behind them. Still close, but you're still are behind them. So yeah. And now let's go to top 15. For 15, I get the division rival. I got the Seattle Seahawks. They're 7-5 now. Move them up one spot from 16 last week. Again, I'm going to win. They beat the Jets, so that's your bad team this year, but you still got the win. Helped you get the lead, keep the lead in the division now with the Niners being under 500, Rams and Cardinals both being right at 500. So you got them there. So yeah, we'll see if they can keep that up. But we'll see. Number 14, I also got their division, another one of their division rivals. I get the LA Rams. They're 6-6 now. Put them up one spot from 14-15 last week. They beat the Saints 21-14. So give them again a win. So yeah, man, you get them. You're still only right barely behind your division lead. You're ahead of the Niners, which a lot of people have the Rams in the playoffs this year probably. I think any of them had them being ahead of the Niners this late in the season, though. You got the Rams. Number 13, with the Houston Texans. They're 8-5 now. Lead them down one spot from 13 last week. 12 last week, sorry. So yeah, they won, but they almost lost the win, comeback win to Trevor Lawrence's list Jaguars. So yeah, it's not been that close. Like it was not that close when Lawrence went back. He went out. Like you should have kept it close. Now they're losing Aziz Al-Shir for at least for 3 games due to suspension. They get suspended for that hit. And the Texans going to win though. They've been needing them win. So yeah, number 12 for the biggest mover down this week. I got the San Francisco 49ers. 5-6 now, with them down from right 5-6. That doesn't sound right. They're 5-7, aren't they? I don't know. Double check on this. I'm pretty sure I might have put them on. Yeah, they're 5-7. Sorry. Also, edit that. 5-7. Moving down from 8 last week. So yeah, they lost. They got blown. They now have got blown out by the Bills and Packers now 2 weeks in a row. Last week I ended up moving out to do that just because they didn't have Purdy. There's only so much you can hurt a team when they got blown out, but they didn't have the quarterback against the good team the Packers. So it's just that's gonna be a tough win. Even so, yeah. But this week I moved them down a lot because they have Purdy. Now they don't have McCaffrey for the rest of the regular season, most likely. They don't have Mason for at least 4 more weeks. He's on injury reserve as well. So the Niners are just dealing with a ton of injuries, which is part of me moving down that much. Because this late in the year, you really don't see a lot of that much movement, like the team moving up or down that many spots. Yeah, Niners are just struggling with a lot of injuries. So yeah, number 11 for the Denver Broncos. 8-5 now. With them up a couple spots. 13 last week. They beat the Browns in a high scoring one. The defense said, well, he somehow struggles. They gave up a lot of yards. Hey, they helped the Broncos win it. They got them 2 pick-sixes to help their offense. So yeah, getting the Broncos getting the win now. So yeah. Number 10, I got the LA Chargers. They're 8-4 now. I moved them up. I kept them at 10 from last week, sorry. They played. Who did they play? They beat the Falcons 17-13. Their offense didn't do much, but they didn't need to do much because their defense did great. So that's just how it goes. You can't count on every week, but it does happen sometimes. So yeah, again, I'm going to win. So yeah, Chiefs are still a few games ahead of their division, but does not look like it's gonna be easy. It's this division for the Chiefs gonna be easy the next few years. Chargers and Broncos both looking good this year, and they got young franchise quarterbacks. Well, I'm gonna say maybe it's not really young because Nick is 24, and then Herbert is 26, 27. So, but not neither of them are in their 30s. I guess is better way to put it. So yeah, again, I'm gonna win. Number 9 for the Washington Commanders. They're 8-5 now. I'm up a couple spots from 11 last week, and I'm gonna win. You blew out the Titans again there. Sounds like they might be getting Marshall Lattimore back this getting Marshall Lattimore this week, I should say, since he hasn't played a single game since they traded for him. Yeah, getting a blowout win. We'll see how they do. Doesn't look like they'll be able to catch their division. Now the Eagles now haven't been on a big winning streak. See how they do next week because they do have a bye this week, so they don't play. So yeah, number 8, got the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're 9-3 now. Them up one spot from 9 last week. Russ did good. Like the offense looked great. I should say. Like Russ had a lot of a lot of stats that he best stats in the past few years. So good on him there. Your defense did struggle, but right, the Bengals have a really good offense as well. It's just their defense is so bad. The Bengals can't win a lot of games. Yeah, again, them getting a win, keeping the lead in the division over the Ravens. Number 7, I got the Green Bay Packers. They're 9-3 now. I moved them up. I kept them at 7 from last week, and I'm getting a win. They beat the Dolphins. To give them, it wasn't cold weather, which is always the Dolphins' um, working spot. I can't think of a better word for it. But yeah, the Dolphins never do good in cold weather. Just put it that way. But yeah, the Packers going to win. Keep on pace with their division because NFC North is 3 teams with really good records right now. So yeah, number 6, got the Baltimore Ravens. They're 8-5 now. Down a couple spots from 4 last week. They lost by a couple scores to the Eagles. What was the final? They lost. Oh, they lost 24-19. It technically was a one-score game, but they Ravens scored a touchdown with like less than 10 seconds left to make it a one-score game. So it really was a two-score game because like the Ravens had no shot at getting another touchdown to take the lead with that much little time left after their touchdown end. But yeah, it's a tough loss, but it was against a good Eagles team, so that hurt them too much. Yeah, let's go to top 5. Number 5, I got the Minnesota Vikings. We're 10-2 now. Them up one spot from 6 last week. And then we had another win. Had they got Sam Darnold his first 13-plus point comeback in his NFL career. He hasn't done that. He hasn't done that yet with the Jets or Panthers, or any of them, or in this year with the Vikings. Seems like most time late in games, like the games that they won, I should say, seems like they are leading. They haven't really had to have like too many like the last couple minutes comebacks that they've gone. I should say they tried to do it against the Lions and Rams, but obviously failed since they lost those games. So good them get a win. They have a chance of clinching a playoff berth. Like they already far exceeding everybody's expectations from going into the season. Nobody thought they were going to reach 10 wins. They'll only be 10-2. So yeah. Number 4, got the Kansas City Chiefs. They're 11-1 now. With them, moved them up one spot from 5 last week. So yeah, you won, but top 3 teams ahead of you are looking better. And you almost lost to bad Raiders team. Like if it wasn't for them making that mistake late, they would have lost. Like the Raiders were in field goal range with the top kicker and Crosby. And Danny Carlson. I don't know why I was thinking of Mason Crosby, the Packers top kicker. But yeah, either way, the Chiefs still won. And yeah. Number 3, got the Buffalo Bills. 10-2 now. We kept them at 3-11 last week. The first team this year to clinch their division. So we got them there. Yeah, you blew out the Niners team, but Niners have 100 injuries, it seems like. Again, them getting a win. So yeah, number 2, got the Detroit Lions. They're 11-1 now. We kept moving them down one spot from last week. Yes, they won, but it's like the Chiefs. Like if it wasn't for a late game mistake by their other team, they would have lost. Their defense is starting to struggle. Like the defense have had a lot of injuries. Like they don't have Aiden Hudson right now. They don't have Anzalone right now. Malcolm Rodriguez is done for the year. Like all those injuries on their defense is starting to show some struggles. It's just their offense is so good, anyways. They can make up for some struggles on defense. Yeah, and I'm still getting a win. Number one, got the Philadelphia Eagles. They're 10-2 now. Put them up one spot to next week. So yeah, you pretty much had a two-score win against the Ravens this week. A good Ravens team. Get them there. Their offense looked good. Defense was like your defense. Big fan Fangio's been good, good for them. Like they had one of the worst I think it was about 10 defense last year, and now they're one of the top defenses. They had Cooper DeJean's looking good. He had a good for us. I don't know how big he is, but not too big of a corner tackling a guy like Derrick Henry by himself. He did good. Yeah, guys, that's it for this Power Rankings video. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a